again, friends and neighbors. If you've been to this channel before, then you know what to expect. If you haven't, then just sit back and relax. I'm kind of boring, I think. First and foremost, I need to apologize to anybody and everybody who has been leaving comments on my videos. I apologize for not having responded yet to any of them, and I also apologize that it's been such a long time since I've actually uploaded anything else to YouTube. The main problem is both of my computers that I had, my laptop and my desktop computer, both, well, they gave up the ghost at the same time. I lost quite a bit of data as far as the YouTube stuff goes, so I'm having to kind of start over from scratch. So having said all of that, thank you to everybody who's watched any of my videos, especially the BiOrb video. That one's blown up. I say blown up. That one's doing better than any of the other ones that I have out. So in this particular video, being that this is the first one that I will have uploaded since, well, the last one, I figured I wanted to go around and just do a quick update on all of the aquariums. I'm going to do one specifically on the BiOrb, and I'm going to address some of the comments and questions in the previous video that I made. But in this particular one, it's just a general kind of how's everything doing and that sort of thing. Oh, another update since the last time I got a cat, or well, I was adopted by a cat. He kind of wound up, came up outside. I have no idea where he came from. He's in the piano right now. His name is Coco. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why don't you come over here? Come in here. So the first tank I'm going to review, give you a little update on, is the Fluval Flex, Mega Flex, the 32. I believe the last video that I did, I had just redone this one. As you can see, it's growing in quite well. The Aquarium kind of, they went through a little bit of a die-off, but they're slowly starting to come back. The Jungle Vallisneria, as you can see in the left-hand corner, has absolutely taken over everything, which I'm okay with. I knew it was going to do that, and that's kind of what I wanted. I'm slowly trying to move some of this over to the 60. So I'm hoping that I can fill the 60 with that grass. It would look really neat. Also, if you a little bit of note is the Madagascar lace leaf on the right-hand side has absolutely just exploded. I'll see if I can get in here a little better. That's all that Madagascar lace leaf. It is doing so well. And then a little bit of guppy grass in the center. I'm kind of hoping some of these fish might spawn, but they may not. And I do apologize about being so dark, but if you've noticed, I've actually got two lights on top. You'll notice I have two lights on top. One is the original that was underneath the original hood. The other one is one I added. You'll also notice that I put a plexiglass lid instead of the regular lid that was on it. I felt like the original lid that was on it, it facilitated the growth of mold and mildew. I don't know if that was just my experience or if other people have had that experience, but that's kind of what I found. Also, floating plants did not like to grow underneath the original hood, which is why I replaced it with the plexiglass hood. Plus, it gives a little bit better diffusion of the light across the whole tank, and so far I'm happy with it. It's given me pretty good results. All the Serpia tetras, just about everything I've put in this tank is doing fantastic. I also added a betta fish. He's right up here. He's hard to see. Everything in this tank is hard to see because it's so dark, but I kind of like it because it's its own little dark black water ecosphere. But there's also some neorite snails. You can probably see the one in the back. But so far so good. Everything seems to be doing well, growing well. Everything's getting along together. The Serpia tetras kind of do keep the fins on the betta trim down, which is actually okay. Like they're not nipping him all the way back. He's been in here quite a while. They just give him a little nip here and there, and it actually helps to keep his fin short enough for him to be able to get through everything and not get hung up. When I first put him in here, he had long, really long flowing fins, and he would get hung up on the driftwood and stuff like that. But he doesn't have that problem anymore, and he's very healthy. I don't know if you can tell; they're all kind of fat. I feed them well. So yeah, there's the 32. So the next tank that I want to give you an update on is the 60-gallon. All the fish are doing very well. I haven't lost anything. Nothing has died. Everything seems to get along very well, including the king beta, whose name is Kronos. I don't know if you can see him right here, but he's doing very well. Gets along with everybody in the tank. I had an algae problem. I don't anymore. Now I have a nutrient deficiency, I think, because if you look on the left-hand side, that red flame sword was doing very well, and now the leaves are starting to kind of fall apart. I think that's because it's not getting enough nutrients. I need to get some root tabs and put in here. I also have another Madagascar lace leaf in here, which is growing right over here, right about where Kronos is at, and it's starting to grow in. This tank's a little warm for Madagascar lace leaves. They like cooler waters. I keep this tank around 80, but it seems to be growing okay. The Java fern on top of the piece of hardscape there is doing fantastically, but that's no surprise. Java fern is incredibly versatile, incredibly resilient, and a pretty quick grower, and it fills spaces pretty quick, and it's pretty. It's a nice, pretty green color. The the ocelot sword, which is the one on the right-hand side, was a baby or a pup off of one I had growing there, and I have recently separated it, took the mother plant out, put it in a different tank, and it died. So this is the only baby that I have left of that, which is kind of a shame, because that thing has the ability, the capability of taking up the entirety of that end of that tank. It's how big the original plant was until I put silver dollars in this tank, and they ate it all back. So word to the wise, if you have a planted tank, don't put in silver dollars. Also, the neon rosy barbs that I put in this tank, which do a fantastic job of eating algae, will also eat duckweed. Oh, that's something else I just need to mention very quickly. Don't ever buy duckweed. Don't ever buy duckweed. Don't ever buy duckweed. Don't ever buy duckweed. If you see it for sale at a fish store, just pass it up. You are not missing anything. It's a lot more trouble than it's worth. And once you get it, the only way to really get rid of it is to put something in there that will eat it, because you will never get it all out of a tank. It's like, it's basically water glitter. It's glitter in the sense that once you get it on something or in something, you can't get rid of it. It's there for time and till the sun blows up. But the only way really is to put a fish or something in there that will eat it, and the neon rosy barbs are one of those apparently that will do that. So there's a tip. So let me think. I'm trying to think of anything. Oh yeah, you can see the jungle val that I put in there. I'm just trying to see how it's going to grow in the flow that I've got. I want to redo this one. I'm not entirely happy with how it turned out. It's kind of plain. But that's the problem with bigger tanks, is they start to grow in, and then I had two big Anubis growing on either side of that centerpiece, and they both started to die. And they just started looking terrible, so I took them out and put them in another tank, and I think they're just old. I don't really know, but I need to do some horticultural magic on those. I need to separate them and try to attach them to their own pieces of driftwood, because I think they're just overgrown on the driftwood they're on. So, but that'll be another video all to itself. Alright, so the next tank is the Fluval 15-gallon that I have on my counter. Now, the last time you saw this tank, I had just planted it. I believe I showed you that. I had just planted it. These were from seeds, a packet of seeds. And I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to turn into. When they first came up and they started to grow, they kind of looked like Monte Carlo, but as they kept growing, well, you can see, they just kind of grow straight up, and they have taken over this entire tank. There's a betta fish in here who is incredibly happy. He loves it. The little predator. You know, he's swimming in and out of here. He's got little tunnels in the roots, and he's doing quite well. So I've been kind of hesitant to do any kind of trimming to it. I need to, and I'm going to, and I'll probably do another update after I do that. There's not really much more to say about this tank. It's kind of plain to look at. I don't have much in here. None of the shrimp I put in here made it. The betta fish is really the most healthy thing in the tank. I don't know if you can see, there's a Serpia tetra in the center, little tiny one. I had 3 of those bigger ones in the 32 in this tank, and they spawned, and only one of them survived. So again, which is kind of is why I put the guppy grass in the 32, hoping they might use it, but they haven't yet. So yeah, there's one pork chop rasbora in here. He's hiding. I had 5, and now I only have 1. So I have a sneaking suspicion that the betta fish is being kind of an asshole. So yeah, not much more to say about that other than the light. The light is fantastic. It's the Fluval Eco Light, little square one, nano light, and it's perfect for this tank. I've also found another use for them, which I will show you here in a minute, which is another reason why I love Fluval. So, but yeah, there you go. Fluval Flex 15-gallon betta jungle. Now this was a tank that I haven't showed y'all yet. This is a 29-gallon. This is going to be a shrimp tank. That's what it was started out as. I've got 2 little mosquito fish in here that they just... Okay, so all these leaves that are in here, I went and gathered them from a swamp that's right next door and put them in here, and they must have been stowaways in amongst those leaves. I also have a dragonfly larva in here. So I have to wait for the dragonfly larva to die, or to metamorphosize into a dragonfly, and then put him outside. And then I also have to do something about those. Well, I may try to leave the mosquito fish in there, but they're incredibly aggressive towards other things. So I don't know if shrimp would survive with them in there. Yeah, I'm probably going to try to put some cherry shrimp and a few Amano shrimp in here and just let them go and see what they do. It's full of hornwort. That's the lush green plant that you see, this stuff, and it's just growing from, I planted it over there and it's just kind of growing this way. I've got some floating plants, some salvia, some red root floater. I had some not duckweed, frog bit in here. Not much to look at yet, really not much in here. It's kind of overgrown, but I'm letting it do that on purpose. But I figured I would just kind of throw it in here as a just kind of show you what I got going on. Now that sponge filter is, yes, anybody who's seen that and has said, oh, that's too big. Yes, you're absolutely right. That sponge filter is rated for a 100-gallon tank, and this is a 29-gallon tank. So it's completely overkill. It's not necessary. I could have gone with 1 completely smaller or 2 even smaller ones, but instead my idiot self bought the biggest one thinking, oh, well, this ought to do a really good job. And to be fair, it has done a very good job, but it's just, it takes up so much of the tank. So I'll probably change that out at some point. But yeah, so this is the 29 future shrimp tank. And here is the 6-gallon Aqueon Accent. Now, from the last time you guys saw this has been taking quite a transformation. As you can see, the guppy grass has taken over the tank completely. There is also a betta fish in here. He's got to be one of my favorites. He's not doing so hot. I mean, he's healthy, so in that concern, he's fine. But his fins, they stay ripped all the time because he's swimming through the guppy grass. But he's happy. He loves it. And as I said, he's very healthy. I feed him all the time. He eats very well. There are also 3 dwarf frogs in here. And I'm really, really hoping I might get them to breed. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. They seem to get along very well. They don't fight. They don't bicker. I've never seen them nip at each other. They tend to leave each other alone. So I'm not too worried about it. Everybody seems to be happy. I did swap the filtration out. This came with a waterfall filter, an in-the-tank waterfall filter, which I detested completely. So I wound up putting an in-the-tank canister filter, very small. That's the little bit of blue you see on the left-hand side and the back. It's okay. It was a cheap filter. It does the job. It's again, not my favorite. What I will probably wind up doing with this tank is putting a small turtle canister filter on it, or a small sponge filter is probably what I'll probably go with a small sponge filter, simply because it's a small tank. It doesn't need anything real crazy. But you can't really tell, but there is a rosette sword growing in here. There's also a red flame sword that I put in the back. It's still alive, it's just not getting much sunlight. And then the little cave, I think there may be one or two Amano shrimp in there as well. And the snails are obligatory in every tank that I have. You can count on there being snails of some kind. But there's not much more to say about the tank. It's growing in quite well. I need to do some trim work, but so far so good, and everything is healthy and happy. And as long as everything's healthy and happy, I'm happy. So, all right, and here's the much anticipated and awaited BiOrb. I have gotten so many comments on this particular aquarium, and I must say I am impressed with it. Simply because it maintains itself so well. I would have never guessed that the filtration that comes with it was sufficient enough to keep it as clean and healthy as it has. But it does. It's getting to the point now, however, where I do need to do some service on the tank. I need to replace the filter, and I needed to. I really want to change it up a little bit, because I do want to plant the tank. So I've got to do some thinking and some engineering on how to accomplish that safely without messing with the original filtration too much. I don't know if it's possible, but I will find a way, and I will take you on that journey with me. I believe it's one that I can share with you, because I'm I'm hoping that I'm not the only person with one of these things. I know I'm not. I've had several people respond. I think a couple who's actually said that they've done work on their own filtration system as well. There is a beta fish in here. I must say that there's a beta fish in every tank that I have. So there's a beta fish in here, and there are 3 red cardinals. I thought they were neon tetras, but I'm pretty sure they're cardinals. I could be wrong. But there's only 3 of them left. The beta fish is kind of mean to them. I do have some ghost shrimp in here, surprisingly enough, that have made it. I don't know how, but they have. I only see 1 currently, but I did have some red crystal shrimp in here. I think that the beta fish has killed them all. I have yet to see another one. I was kind of hoping that the substrate that comes in the tank would have been coarse enough for them to hide in, but obviously not. So yeah, so that's kind of one of my goals. So when I go to take this apart, to clean the filter, change it out, also see what I can do with the bottom about planting some stuff, and giving shrimp some more hiding places, because I really would like this to be like a bioreactor for shrimp. I would really like to have for them to multiply considerably in this tank, even though it's only 16 gallons, so they can only go so far. But the hornwort that I put in here, my goal was to make it look like that dead tree in the center had sprouted and was growing again. So the hornwort was supposed to be the canopy of the tree, and it's kind of worked. It hasn't quite grown in to the top of it yet, but it's all in the top because that's where the light is. It's another thing. I'm probably going to upgrade the light to one of the Fluval Eco nano lights. The light that comes with it is sufficient enough for hornwort, as you can see, but the light doesn't really reach the bottom once it grows in, so it's not quite strong enough. I don't know, the beta fish kind of like darkness though, so I'm gonna have to be careful with that. I will answer one question. Somebody had messaged me and said, can you put a heater in it for a beta fish? I said, yes, you can put a heater in it for a beta fish. As a matter of fact, BiOrb actually sells a heater specifically for that. I have not bought one yet. I keep my house around 72, between 72 and 75, so it's not like real cold. And the beta fish that's in here is healthy and happy and does not seem to mind that it's a little cooler than he's used to or is recommended. I know, shame on me, it should be 78, or around 78, but he's doing fine. His fins are beautiful. He's one of the prettiest beta fish I have. If I could get him to swim close enough, you could see that he's black and just a very faint mustard yellow. Very beautiful fish, very big and showy fish, especially when he's all puffed out. But right now he's hunting, so I'm not going to bother him anymore. But I know I haven't answered all the questions or addressed all the comments yet. This is just a quick update on everything. My next video will be me the next aquarium video will be me taking this thing down and redoing it and improving it, hopefully. So that's the plan anyway. Okay, and last but not least, the 20-gallon aquarium that I planted. I took you along that journey with me, so if you haven't seen that video, you can go back and compare what it looked like when I started and what it looks like now. Everything seems to be growing in okay. I'm not a huge fan of the S. repens that's in the front corner. It's not as tall as I thought it was going to be. The red cardinal in the back is doing is doing well. The stuff near the filter and the heater is doing better than the stuff on the other side, which I think means that there's not enough flow. I have a water break on this AquaClear filter that I 3D printed because, again, you can see that there is a betta fish in here. He's a denim blue crown tail, and I had to slow down the flow of the filter for him. And I think that kind of may have negatively affected the plants a little bit, but they seem to be growing fine. Nothing's died. Some of it's growing better than others, as I said. Stuff at this end seems to be, the right side seems to be doing better than the stuff on the left side, and I think that has to do with the flow of the filter. It's something that I can remedy, but I've just been kind of letting it go. I probably should start fertilizing it as well, but the betta fish is happy. I've got a little Siamese algae eater. He seems to be doing good as well. You'll notice the forefront there, I had the white gravel. Well, I put trumpet snails in here, and they just kind of rolled it under the medium that's growing in the bottom. So you can see just below the black gravel there is white sand. It was all on top, and that was all a little white spot, but it's not anymore. But I'm okay with that. It just gives me room to plant more plants as I find them. So yeah, so there's that. Oh, and also, this gives me an opportunity to show you, I had mentioned earlier about finding uses for the Fluval Eco lights. I've got one mounted to my ceiling that I'm using as a grow light. And it's growing, and it actually works quite well. It's only turned down about 50%. It'll get much brighter than that. But I have all these plants down here. That's actually a poinsettia that's growing back right there. I've also got some cuttings down there of some things that I've taken. They might make it, they might not. I've got some nerve plants with a Draxinia growing up there, and whatever the hell that thing was. I don't remember. Some kind of decorative shrub, but it's doing quite well. And you can see I've made all that from scratch, so forgive me if it looks a little tacky. But yeah, I wanted a grow light because I love houseplants, and my house is kind of dark, so I had to create light. So one of the hardest problems that I've found with grow lights is it's hard to find them that are white. So I'm using an aquarium light, and it works quite well. So yeah, so there's that, and I just wanted to show that to you. Because I think it's interesting, and it's a good tip for anybody that wants to have houseplants but doesn't have enough natural light. You can put up your own lights, and you can use aquarium lighting to do it, but it has to be aquarium lighting specifically made for aquarium plants. So yeah. Oh, also, I don't know if you noticed, I also have some red root floaters growing in here, and seeing them from the bottom, you can definitely tell why they're called red root floaters. Very pretty. They do like to kind of be crowded, though. They don't like to be floating on their own. That's something I found. They like to be in amongst other plants, which has been a challenge. I have to harvest or cull the floating plants in this tank quite often because they grow so quickly. Also because they block the light out from the plants on the bottom, which is another reason they're not doing quite as well as they could be. Also, I do apologize about the film of algae on the front. I've just, again, have been just letting these things go. Trying to let them go as long as I can before I do any kind of maintenance to them, to try and falsely, incorrectly, maybe, but my theory is the longer I let them go without really messing with them, the higher the possibility is that they will reach an equilibrium without my assistance. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and so far it's kind of worked. But so there's the 20 gallon. We all did together in the last video. You can go watch that and see. You'll be able to tell how long it's been since I did it last. I don't remember. I don't keep track of time that that well. So, but I mean, it's been a few months, and so it'll be interesting to see it about at a year mark to see where this is at. But again, I'll do an update again on this in the future. Okay, so there you have it, an update on all the aquariums that I have. If I missed anything, which I'm sure I did, I'm trying to do this quickly. I didn't want the first video that I put out to be too terribly long. It's going to be longer than I normally put out. So if you've made it thus far in the video, thank you for watching. If you saw anything you'd like to leave a comment, please do so. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, I have a question, if any of you are interested. I've noticed I've got a lot of music videos on my YouTube channel as well, and I say a lot of me playing the piano. I have one of me singing. I'm trying to diversify my channel just to see who will like what. Something I'm going to try to do, hence the piano. I have it, so I want to use it, because I want to incorporate it into more of my videos. So I'm going to probably change up the intro and outro videos. Intro and outro clips of each video to incorporate more of the piano. So yes, so thank you for watching. I hope everything in your area of life is doing well, and all your loved ones are happy and healthy and working, has a job. If you're unlucky enough to not be able to work, I sucks, I understand, but hopefully things are slowly starting to get back to normal. Without rambling any further, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.